What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always, spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I talk about: football, basketball, and boxing. Let's get into some basketball. All right, so the NBA playoffs has kicked into gear. We've had the play-in games going on right now, and then we're about to move into the real deal, the top 8 in each conference in the NBA. Want to talk about the Eastern Conference first. The play-ins so far have went according to how I thought they would go. I saw DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and company being too much for the Toronto Raptors. They ain't had no real star power like those guys. Figured they'd get the job done, and they did. And I knew, even though the Miami Heat could probably beat the Atlanta Hawks in a series of 4 out of 7, in one game I'm going with Trae Young. So that worked out for the 7th and 8th seeds. In the West, I was a little bit off. I'll get to that later. But I do still expect the Chicago Bulls to play against the Miami Heat and lose. So I think your 7th and 8th seeds in the East are going to be Atlanta at 7 and the Miami Heat at 8. With that being said, the 1-8 matchup, Milwaukee versus the Miami Heat. I know Jimmy's real confident. I know he's going to come ready to play, and they got experience against Milwaukee, but I think that series is only going to last 5 to 6 games. And if for some reason the Bulls do beat Miami and they end up playing against the Milwaukee Bucks, I think the Bucks will beat them in 5 games for sure, maybe sweep them. But I think Miami will be the team. They'll lose in 5 or 6 to Milwaukee, and Milwaukee will keep on marching. As for the 2-7 matchup, Boston versus Atlanta, Trae worked his magic to get that 7th seed. He's going to come out ready to ball. Collins and all of those guys are going to hoop. They got their brand new backcourt that they put together this year. Is going to see if it pays dividends against the Boston Celtics. But the Boston Celtics, they got wing defenders. That's what they do. They well coach, and they hungry to get back to the championship. I think this is the end of the road. I'm going to give Trae Young one game on the strength of him dropping 40, maybe having 10 assists. But it won't go more than 5 games. Boston Celtics win that series. The 3-6 matchup will be nice with the 76ers versus Brooklyn. Brooklyn lost Kevin Durant, lost Kyrie, lost James Harden over the course of the last few years. But with what they got back for Durant in draft picks and players, I think going to pay out. They in a good spot, a good position. And I think that in the future, it'll be bright for Brooklyn, but not this playoff series. Joel Embiid's hungry. James Harden got something to prove. Maxey can ball. Doc Rivers got something to prove. That series will go 6. It won't make it to 7. But on the strength of teamwork, team play, defense in Brooklyn, Jacques Vaughn coaching, they might can squeeze 2. It may be over in 5. I'm going to go 6. And then the 4-5 matchup between Donovan Mitchell and company, Darius Garland and them guys in Cleveland. This is their year to prove something. But the New York Knicks want to show, even though they didn't get Donovan Mitchell, it don't matter. They here. Brunson has been playing like an all-star. Julius Randle, Coach Tibbs coaching that thing, and the city of New York is lit. That being said, this will go 7, and it'll come down to the fact that the last game will be in Cleveland. Cleveland in 7. Donovan Mitchell has a good game 7. And that's the Eastern Conference for you, at least for the first round. Now, as for the Western Conference, I definitely had the Lakers being able to beat Minnesota in that first game in the play-in. But I actually thought that New Orleans was going to do what was necessary. McCullough was going to show up, Brandon Ingram and those guys, and they was going to get those young guys in OKC out of there and hope for Zion to return. But those boys in Oklahoma City said no, sir, and they beat the New Orleans Pelicans. That being said, I think with Rudy Gobert coming back and Edwards, how he pretty much gave the game away for Minnesota, because if he showed up like his normal self, the Lakers don't get that 7th seed, at least the way the rest of that game went. But that being said, like I said, I picked the Lakers, not thinking Edwards would have a bad game, they would just lose. And I thought from there that New Orleans might have a shot against Minnesota. I'm going to pick against the young guys again in OKC and say with Rudy and Cat in the middle and Edwards having a bounce back game because he's going to be mad about the bad game against the Lakers, Minnesota will squeeze in, only to be swept by Denver, who's on a mission, and they better make quick work of Minnesota. If that game take more than 5 games, I'm worried about them moving forward. I got Denver in 4. The 2-7 matchup, I would have to say that I'm going to go with the Lakers to upset the Grizzlies in 6, but I think it's going to be a serious 6. I think both teams are going to win on each other's court, and then the Lakers will pull it out in 6 in LA. As for the 3-6 matchup, you've got the Sacramento Kings versus the Golden State Warriors. That's a big time game. I can't wait to see how that works out. 2 of the highest scoring teams in the league. Mike Brown left Golden State and Golden State's defense fell off. I don't think that's a coincidence. Sacramento came up as a team, not a coincidence. Mike Brown been a good coach, and his years with Steve Kerr helped him even more. Sacramento's for real. They ain't backing down to nobody. But the Warriors got that championship pedigree. I see, at least in the first round, the heart of a champion coming through, and Golden State having to go on the road in Sacramento and win in Game 7. As for the 4-5 matchup, Phoenix versus the Clippers, if Paul George was playing, I'd say that's a 6-game series. Phoenix wins. I think Phoenix got the flat-out better team. Kevin will outplay Kawhi. Book will outplay PG. Chris Paul will run the show from the point, and Ayton going to do the dirty work. And those role players going to look better than they are because of the big 4. But without Paul George, it's a 5, maybe a sweep. 5-game series is what I'm going to go with. And that's my Western Conference picks. For the first round, that is. I'll be in touch. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know what you're looking for. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or hit the bell. Get at me in the comments. Let's go back and forth on YouTube, Instagram, at The Vault JMU414 on Twitter. And, of course, what's up, TikTok? Holla at y'all next time.